Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. I just love connecting with all you guys, whether you're a brand new painter or you've been painting for decades. It's just super fun to connect with you guys. I'm in the mood to paint a couple of daisies. So when I was out on my walk the other day, I actually thought to take some photos of flowers. And so this photo is going to look a little funny because I edited it in Photoshop. But there's the photo. You can see up here I just have some sort of blue dots to let me know where the top of the 8x10 is, but I cropped it in Photoshop. I don't really like this line totally, but we're going to have a darker corner, and then this line's going to point to the star of our show, this daisy. And then I'm going to paint it on an 8x10 canvas panel from Michaels. They're really inexpensive. If you want to use these for practice, it's really nice because they're sturdy, and you can frame them, which is really fun. And then as I'm looking at my phone, I've got kind of a cluttered background going here. I'm started to work on Andy's pet portrait. So Zoe was the first one. They're all 16x20, an 1.5 deep, gallery wrapped and splined canvas from Michaels. So you can see Zoe's, and Zoe shows you how I strategized and set up the paint and mixed the paint for the background for all three portraits. I'm using the same colors for all three portraits. The second one is Callie the cat. It should have posted, so I suppose Zoe posted maybe 6 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I don't always know when I film these exactly when they're going to post on YouTube. And then Callie's would have posted 2 weeks ago, maybe, I'm guessing. And then this is Andy. And I've got reference photos that I'm painting from. So I'm just underpainting. So it's not looking super real yet. But I'm just underpainting it, working on it. I taped some photos. But here, isn't he cute? Look at that smile. Okay, we want to get to painting the daisies. We don't want to talk about Andy's cute pet portrait. Let's get started. Here's my daisy photo in case it didn't show up very well in that intro. You know, I just real loosely put in some flower petals in Photoshop. So this photo was, when I took it, it had more down here and less at the top, and it was also moved over that way. But I wanted to, I'm gonna move this a second. I wanted to kind of, this is definitely was the star of the show in the photo, which was a nice happy accident. I didn't really plan it when I took it. So I'm just gonna sort of, oh, you can't see that. I'm gonna roughly sketch. So I wanted, sorry guys, I cannot talk and think. So what I'm doing is kind of finding roughly a third. So it'd be a little over 2 inches. To be about right there. Oh, that's not too bad, that's not too far off. So I wanted this flower. It doesn't quite sit on the thirds, but it's close. So that our focal point, originally in the photo it was right in the middle. And I kind of, when you don't know what to do with composition, put your star of the show, your focal point, on one of the thirds. And I actually might bring this down a little bit when I paint it. Got that green line on the third too. So just so you know what I was thinking and why I messed with the photo in Photoshop. Hope that helps a little bit. I'm not totally sure how this line's gonna go. We're gonna paint it a little bit like the tulip painting, which you guys, the tulip painting has a traceable. It's easier if you want to start with that one. So it has a really dark background. This is gonna have a dark background at least for the bottom 2/3, and then some sky. So we're kind of combining some of my simple landscape paintings, my simple flower painting with the single red tulip, and we're just going to make it just a little bit more complicated. Not too hard. I think you can totally do this. If you want it traceable, let me know. Alrighty, so, and I got tape here so I stay on, or in frame. I was going to say on camera. I think that works too. And then we got to write love. This is a watercolor pencil from Michaels. I think that's just an awesome way to start a painting. And if it doesn't turn out, or this video is like an epic fail, because I haven't painted this before, you know, it'll probably be a better video. You know, I can write epic fail and it'll get lots of clicks. Okay, I'm using ultramarine blue because I'm thinking that's a blue a lot of you guys have. Cad yellow, medium hue. So I think when it says hue, I need to look this up. Somebody can also put it in the comments that it doesn't actually have cadmium in it. I think that's what the hue means. And then Hooker's green. I think that's the only green I have. Oh, I've got some lime greens. And then I'm just gonna mix. Okay, I'm gonna start with the sky. Maybe we should find kind of where thirds are. So I think with this video, it'll be, you'll see every step, but I'm gonna do some time lapse too and then pop in with comments and thoughts or anything that occurs to me that I think might help you. Otherwise the video might be, gosh, this size. I could easily go 7 hours on this just because I tend to get kind of hung up in it. So that was not quite 2 3/4. I'm just kind of looking, there's actually 2 3/4. I'm just kind of looking for ballpark here. So I know how far down to paint my sky. And then we'll come back and paint some greens over it. And then I'm gonna mix. So I want a muted blue, and I don't know if I have enough blue out actually. I'm trying to decide. Usually, so a rule of thumb is to start with your lighter color. And so I'm thinking the yellow, orange is the complement of blue. I'm thinking that yellow, well, it's gonna make a green. That might be a mistake. I might come up with kind of a weird green sky. If I want to mute it down, oh, we could put out a little red. Why don't we do that? We'll make this another painting with primaries painting. I'll just put the red over here. So this is, oh, it's probably light. I tend to do that. I've done that a couple times now. Cad red light hue. I actually wanted the medium, but it'll work just fine. So basically red and yellow make orange, and orange is the complement of blue. So that'll gray it down. And hopefully take some of the green out. Just gonna add a little more blue. Oh, this is I've got a new Freestyle Liquitex palette knife. I really like this one. I use this one a lot from Blick. It's smaller, but this is a nice all-purpose if you just want to get one palette knife. It's a nice medium size. Well, when I say medium size, if you paint really huge paintings, this palette knife might be, you know, you might consider it your small one. All right, let's see what kind of color we've got going here. I'm gonna use a little bit bigger brush. Number 12, Royal Langnickel Filbert. It's their Menta line. So I'm just gonna grab, I'm gonna get my brush just a smidge wet. Grab a little white. Let's see what kind of color. Oh, we've got a really nice gray. If you're in color theory class, it's a little blue, but you know, sometimes when you try to mix gray, you can't. And I just pretty much did it. Okay, I just rinsed my brush out a little bit there. We need some more blue. I thought this might be helpful to see. You can't mix a wrong color, just mix it, and sometimes I end up with a really big puddle, which is fine. You can always put out more paint. I can't tell if that got any bluer. So I'm looking for a blue-gray. It's a little backwards for me. I'm going to turn it so I can grab. That's much more comfortable for me. Oh, and I try to square up like this canvas panel with my phone so you guys see it fairly square, even if I'm looking at it at an angle when I'm painting it. Hopefully that helps. It's probably not, I'm gonna look at it. It's probably not, it's not perfect. Okay, let's see what kind of color we have. It's so dark. Oh, I think that might be kind of pretty. Well, it is pretty. I might want a little more blue in it. After I mixed all those other colors. I think maybe what I'll do, I can see there's some blue here. Let's save some of that dark blue. Blue-gray, we'll call it. Let's just grab the rest of this. And then I'm gonna, let me know if you like seeing this part. I don't always show all my color mixing. I do in some of my videos. I show some color mixing and what I'm thinking of. Oh, here's a little tip. So I was doing it off, I think I was doing it off camera. Just kind of wipe it, get it clean. It'll make it a little easier to get the caps off. Okay. So I really went pretty far there with graying my blue out. But to me, part of the fun and what's really relaxing is mixing the colors and just painting the background. You know what, I'm gonna pull, I think we're pretty close, because I can see blue on my white. Oh, and if you really want to get particular about color mixing, I've mentioned this before, but mix on a gray palette. You can see your colors a little bit better instead of on a blinding white. That's why a lot of artists will also paint any color ground. Some artists will always paint a red. A ground just means a red layer of paint underneath everything. So then they can build up and down from that value, that color. Okay, I think that's really pretty. And then we can mix in some of our other colors. Okay, I'm gonna start the time lapse here and I'll pop back in. Thought I'd pop in, and since I mentioned earlier that we're going to do a primary painting, I was going to use Hooker's green, but I'm not going to anymore. I'm going to mix green with ultramarine blue and the yellow. I'll mix browns. I'll mix all the colors with these three, since they're the ones I put out: cad red light, cad yellow medium hue, and ultramarine blue. Oh, and I just kept the clouds simple. I might want them lighter. We'll just see. We'll just see as we go along. Can always lighten them up. And then I would make some clouds and I'd kind of knock them down because I wanted them just to be, I definitely don't want them to be the star of the show. Oh, and I used some of that gray or blue up here. What else? Oh, I guess I'll just paint the background, mix some greens, and we'll get that going. Hey, let's talk about this hot mess for a minute. You know, maybe that should be like my thumbnail. Hot mess. So a lot of times, well, for me, and you may like this too, just get some paint down. You know, I may change my clouds even though I spent quite a bit of time on them. I went up to a bigger brush. It's worn off, but this is a 3/4 inch Royal Langh nickel, same brand as that little one. And just get some color down and get some values down. And it's something I should mention too, which I've been forgetting to mention, is I don't know if this is going to work. I haven't painted this before. I get a little nervous. And so I talk myself through it by saying, just get some values down, just get some color down. And see, this is all blurry back here, which I would like to kind of keep it less important. It'll definitely help when I get the daisies on too. That'll help. And layers will help. And then sometimes I went back and put on even more layers. Here, I'm going to stick this back up. Sorry about my arm. Because when you haven't put a color ground on your panel, your canvas, whatever you're painting on, sometimes I like it when it skips and you catch the canvas, and sometimes it just kind of pops because it dries and it leaves like little white specks. I don't know if I need to fix that because I'm going to paint so many things over the top. That's why sometimes I went back and added more paint. So I'm going to dry this with a hair dryer, and I'm going to let it sit for at least, I don't know, half hour, and then I don't know if we'll start the daisies or what next. I think we'll probably start the daisies so that I know what to do back here. Hey, that last time lapse part, some of that I was talking because I hooked my microphone on my shirt, but I didn't plug it into my phone. So sorry. But what I was saying is, so I was measuring, where it was going to go compared to my reference photo. It doesn't have to be that exact. I just kind of wanted it in a similar area, so I just used my fingers to measure. That's actually a pretty good way, a pretty easy art tip. Just use your fingers to measure in. You'll even see me when I sign my signature sometimes. I'll kind of stick my finger there just to make sure I come in case the frame comes in, and then my signature won't be cut off by the frame. And then I was saying, this is a white charcoal pencil, General's charcoal pencil. And then I just talked about drawing the ovals, and then a good way, you don't even have to draw all the petals. You can just kind of draw the outside of where you think that flower is going to be. And then I drew the shape for the center. And then the only other thing I was saying is that this one, so all the flowers in my reference photo lean that way, because you saw me going like this. I decided to have this one pointing up. And I don't know if it'll help much, but I'm thinking to try and keep your eye in the painting. I'm going to have it darker over here because one of the things I don't like about my reference photo that I took is that it leads you out of the painting a bit. So we're going to try and keep your eye in the painting. So I think that covers everything I was saying there. And then now the debate is, I've got black painting. I just washed my hands. Now the debate is, do we start with the petals or do we start with the centers? And then one nice thing about acrylic painting is it's super forgiving. So I'm tempted to start with the centers and maybe even either yellow, white, or so yellow is quite transparent. I don't think I'm going to use this brush. And it really doesn't matter. I might just use the square. It really doesn't matter. Maybe some of these for the petals. Just to speed it up, you can draw some, or you can paint some, you know, like point it and then push it and get a petal. I lost my train of thought. So I think I might mix a little white with the yellow just because the yellow is so transparent. Or here, maybe I should show you, because the centers are really solid in my reference photo. But see if I grab a little yellow paint, I'll just start with this one. See how transparent that is? Ooh, that's really transparent. So even though I may want it darker, if I mix a little white with it, I'll make it opaque. Not completely, but quite a bit more opaque. And I'm not sure I like this brush either. So use the brush you like. We're gonna need some layers on these centers. Oh, maybe that's a thought. You know, paint the centers, but not completely solid. And paint the petals, and then you can come back and finish the centers. There really isn't a right or wrong way to do it. Okay, back to the time lapse, guys. Let's take a quick look. So I took some of my dark blue gray and made a fairly light blue gray, added some black to it, and then painted some of the petals on. And then I'm still getting a little bit of transparency, which I knew I would, even though titanium white's pretty opaque. That's good because I'm gonna save, so what I'm thinking is save my white highlights for last. And so then I mixed quite a light blue gray, but since it's a little transparent, it's looking darker. It dries a little darker and it looks a little darker. So I'm just wanted to pop in and let you know what I'm thinking. You could paint it with black. I kind of like tying the blue in with the sky a little bit. We've got hints of blue, which I'm gonna probably cover up. But then we're gonna put in stems. I think I'll put in like this bud for sure and keep it darker. So we don't have just a total dark corner. We'll put in some leaves. We've got a lot to do, depending on how much detail we end up putting in. And if you like this painting at any point, I tend to go detail heavy. You can always stop and keep it more impressionistic and more simple. Okay, I'm gonna paint flowers. Back a little bit, guys. Hey, I thought I'd pop in and give you a screenshot in case that helps you. I don't know if I showed you this brush. I think I did, but I don't know if I told you. It's a number 4. Looks like Zoo Zing. I got it on Amazon. They're not bad little brushes. They're quite inexpensive if you're looking to save a little money. I'm going to turn this sideways for a screenshot. So maybe I'll hold it there so you get the whole thing. Then I'll move it up closer so you can see the flowers. And then I'm going to turn it in case it bugs you because it's sideways. So I haven't used any white yet, but it's starting to look better to me. I'm starting to like this better. I really wasn't liking it when I called it a hot mess. But it's starting to get some life to it, which I like. I think I will work more on the flowers and stems. I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure what I want to do. Or maybe if I should work on the background a little bit. Because right now it looks like a hill. Which is okay. We either need to make it look like a hill or maybe make it look like bushes. Maybe I'll work on this a little bit. Okay guys, back in a while. Hey, I'm gonna pop in with a couple thoughts and then probably make dinner pretty soon. So I switched to a flat brush. Oh, it's a Simply Simmons shader, probably a 3/8 inch. It's not quite a 1/2 inch because, let's see here, grab a little paint. I don't know what color I want. So I'm just kind of, it just keeps kind of coming together and I keep working on it, you know. But see, I can get those little marks. Oh, actually, maybe I want a lighter. I don't know if I want yellow because the yellow kind of disappears as you go off into the background. Maybe I would just put some white in it. That actually might make more sense. This is gonna be light enough. And I get, I don't know what I'm gonna do back here exactly, but get some plants happening because there's just a whole bundle of plants happening in the background there. See if we can make that work. And then the corner, I can get some skinny lines. Or when it's a little drier, you can get some kind of, I can't do it. Yeah, it's a little better. I was getting some neat little corner strokes and some straight strokes. That's kind of nice. So I think I'm just going to keep hinting at things loosely and building it up and seeing how I like it. Oh, there we go. See, I'm just kind of hinting at little, I might even put some little like white, not white flowers, maybe some, I don't know, little flowers back right in here. Oh, and then I know what else I wanted to say. So I made a big strong stroke just to kind of get, so I get that underneath. So I kind of have some things pointing, like this points. Oh, probably should fix that a little bit. It points there, kind of keep everything pointing towards the star of the show. Not everything, but have some strokes that point towards the star of the show. That's actually kind of nice. Put a little green right in there. Kind of make that just a little hint of an arrow. Okay, guys, I'll be back after a while. Hey, I thought I'd pop in and give you a closer look. I'm gonna work on the centers of the flowers, and then I think I'll put some white on and we might be done pretty soon. So here's a screenshot if you want. And then I'll show you. I'm thinking I need to take you know what I need to do after I stop this section of the video is take a photo and look at it. I think all those brush strokes, some of them are horizontal, some are kind of vertical, grassy. I think it's working pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna take a photo and work on the flowers. Hey friends, I think I'm done. I always say I think. Well, I don't know if I always say I think, but I'll look at it tomorrow and see, you know, if there's something I really don't like. Like I just added this dark line here because I had such a strong line there. Whereas this is a pretty long, strong line, but it doesn't bother me. But for some reason, that one was starting to bother me. I think the lighting is good. I'm trying to look through my phone here. It really helps to add white last and even a couple coats of white to help some of those petals come forward. What else? I almost think I like this daisy the best. It's simple. This one's kind of nice too. What else do I want to say? I think the direction's working. You know, basically I have arrows pointing to this large flower. Plus this is a large bullseye. Any kind of circle or oval, they're bullseyes. I'm still trying to keep you in the painting. I didn't do much for clouds, sky, but I like it. I definitely want the strength to be here. What else do I need to say? Painted with primaries. Oh, I did add Mars Black. And my paints are pretty much dry. Oh, I think this took me, gosh, I started maybe a little after 2. And then I started making dinner at 5, but it wasn't quite 3 hours. So we'll just say 2.5 because I took some breaks and stuff. And then, what time is it now? So maybe 5 hours to paint this, even though it's really loose. The layers really help. Here, you probably want to see it closer. I'll turn it sideways too. Oop, I got a little big. Oh, and then I'll show you a side by side of my reference photo because I usually can't do that. But since I took the photo, let's see, is that square, kind of square for a screenshot? So it's good. It's good to paint looser because I paint tighter with pet portraits. It's good to paint. I think it's good to paint a lot of different things. Some people think you should stick to one thing, but I think it's good to push yourself, do a variety of things. Plus, it's more fun when you go back to that pet portrait or whatever, you know. You're not just doing the same thing over and over again. So it's, you know, it's a reference photo. I didn't follow it exactly. I think I like that this one's looking up instead of out. Okay, I've probably made enough comments. I super appreciate if you're still with me. Hey, if you're still with me, why don't you hit that like button because that'll help me. I'm a little over 900 subscribers and I can get monetized when I hit 1,000, although I think that might only be about 50 cents a month, but it's a start, so I really appreciate it. Leave a comment. Let me know if you like this one. Great big happy art hugs. I hope to chat with you guys soon. Bye.